ready. At 6 a.m. on Tuesday, our next speaker signed up for Pathways. He already did his Pathways icebreaker before the rollout. Tuesday night at Sunset Speakers, he did his second speech in Pathways. Tonight, he will be doing his third speech in Pathways. It's an improved version of his previous speech, with a speech titled, I Want That Pen. And I'm not sure if there are objectives that need to be read.
Yes.
Are there?
There are purpose statements.
Okay, will you share those, please?
Yes, the purpose statements are that the purpose of this project is for Hugh to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply that feedback to a second speech. And he will demonstrate that he has applied feedback from a previous speech, which he has shared with me.
Okay,
He will apply this feedback to his presentation tonight.
fantastic. With that, going to present I Want That Pen, please help me welcome Hugh Wynn. Thank you very much.
This pin brings back memories. Toastmasters was October 24th, 2008. It was the Division D contest. I was sitting at a table with a group of other Toastmasters, my friends, fellow club members, and I was a contestant in the Division D contest. It was the humor speech contest I was contestant in. So I was nervous, yeah, I admit I was nervous. I still had lots of nerves at that point. I was still fairly new in Toastmasters. It was my second year in Toastmasters. I got a CC, which was great at that point. So I was a confident communicator at that point. But I was nervous. I was sitting at the table. They had a nice sit-down dinner. It was at the Atlantis Country Club. Yeah, had a big fancy. But all I could think was, man, my speech. Am I going to get it right? And then they had served dinner. So I don't know if I want to eat this dinner. I'm thinking about my speech. And before the speech, or after the speech, I was glad it was over. And I thought I gave a good speech. Before they announced the winners of that speech, the division governor, Dave Clark, came up and made a few remarks. He said, tonight we're going to recognize someone who has served the division very well. He is a member of 3 clubs. He is an officer of 3 clubs. The clubs are Talker Town, which he is the secretary of, Freddy's Forum, which is he is the webmaster of. I understand that they created the role of webmaster just for him, so he can be an officer. And Sunset Speakers, of which he is the president of that club. Tonight, he is also a contestant in the humor speech contest. If I didn't guess who that winner was by then, I already knew who he's going to announce. And the winner is Hugh Wynn, outstanding member of Division D. And that's where I got this pin from. And I was thinking the whole night how nervous I was for my speech. I didn't realize, yeah, I actually helped Toastmasters by being active in these clubs. It was more than just speaking. I was helping out as a leader. And if you're curious, I did get second place at the Division D Humor Speech Contest that year. My best showing ever in Toastmasters. I could never replicate that for some reason. So this pin brings back memories. This pin right here brings back more memories. It was not here in West Palm or Palm Beach Gardens. It wasn't even in Florida where I got this pin. I got this pin in Las Vegas. It was the Toastmasters International Convention in Vegas. It was August 2011. So I met Toastmasters all over the world. It was my first international convention. So I met people from Brazil, from Germany, from France, from China, from India. and a few people from the US like Texas and New York and California, people I've never met before. And they were so friendly. We gave each other little trinkets, little gifts. I felt bad that I didn't have any. I didn't know we were supposed to bring something to give to other people. And I don't even know what to bring. What does someone from Florida bring to the international convention? What will represent Florida? I don't know. So at the convention, we were interviewing candidates for the different leadership positions in Toastmasters. The international president, first vice president of Toastmasters, second vice president of Toastmasters. There were a group of people running for a second vice president. There were actually 4 candidates that were running. And you might have heard of some of those candidates: Jim Kakachi, Mike Rafferty. There was another candidate, escapes my mind right now. But there was one candidate that just blew me away. His name was Mohammed Murad. When we talked to him, he connected with us. He asked us, what do you want to get out of this? What's your goal in Toastmasters? He didn't even go into what his campaign slogans or what he plans to do. He just wanted to find out what we wanted. So I said, I'm just in Toastmasters. I happen to be the Lieutenant Governor of Marketing this year. This is my first convention. And he really welcomed us, and he said, okay, here's some materials. If you, in your spare time, you can read it. And in the materials was this pen, and it had his slogan, together towards tomorrow, a world of achievement. It was his campaign pen. And he felt so relatable when he was sitting at that table in Vegas. It wasn't like he was running for office, even though he was. He felt like something you want to vote for. And a lot of people did vote for him, and he ended up winning over Jim Kakachi and Mike Rafferty. Yes, he won the election that year, and he eventually became the national president. That was a special memory. This pin, up here, right above it. It was a pin for a club in the Bahamas. Later that year, I made my first trip to Bahamas. And they welcomed me. They took me from the airport. They led me to the different clubs. And then they led me to one club called the First Toastmasters Club in the Bahamas. They also go by the club number, Club 1600. If you ever visit Bahamas, you ask which club to visit, they recommend go to Club 1600. And when I visited the club, they made me so welcome. I said, yeah, Mr. Dignitary, you can sit up front. Yeah, we reserved a special place for you. I even got a chance to speak in front of the club. So I can say that I'm an international speaker. Yes. After I gave my speech, I sat down, they went through the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, they recognized someone as an honorary member of the club. And they brought me up, saying, for visiting the club, we will recognize you as an honorary member. And they went through the ritual, and I went through the ritual. I had to scream some things or something. It was really crazy. And at the end, they gave me this pen, a membership pen from Club 1600. So fellow Toastmasters, yes, I have all these pens, but it's not all these pens. Each one is special to me. And I know Pathways has a pen, and as soon as I get it, one of these days, I will feel just as special, that pen is just as special to me as any of these pens.